past weekend, this was quite an endeavor. It took me probably all day Saturday, all day Sunday, Sunday night. I was up at 3:45 Monday morning finishing off the edit of that video and that presentation. And it was a great exercise for me in the sense of wanting to communicate a concept versus my track record, Mike's track record, somebody else's business, so that if you understand how it works, then you can apply yourself. And that's the key to this whole plan is it, I found over the years, and I've talked about it many times in the sense of seeing people go across the stage and telling their story and then, trying to be like Al or trying to be like Reed or trying to be like somebody else, whatever the case may be. And it just didn't work. And it was very hard to duplicate or understand their circumstance in life, who they knew, what they were all about, where they came back. And I'll give you a prime example. So back in 1990, when I was told to put together a list of 200 people. I'm sure everybody's heard this story, but if not, we'll say it again for the record. And that's because that's what Alan Reed had done is they had put together a list of 200 people, but they'd just come out of NSA, another networking company, and they had 200 network marketers that they were promoting to. So a far different story when you understand the truth versus what somebody puts out there in the general sense, oh, you got to put together this, or you got to do this, and all so on and so forth, and you go try and do it and it doesn't work for you. It creates a lot of negativity. This is what I would refer to as false data, because what we want is we want to understand how it works and the concepts. Okay. So I saw a number of people watch the video, which is great. We're talking about the idea for team ambassador. Couple of points. There are probably 10 trillion different ways that this could be done. And so I just put together one. And the whole idea was to show the direction of effort and where you want to work. So you bring in somebody, then in theory, that somebody should bring in somebody. And in theory, that somebody should bring in somebody. And you just keep that going. Now, if you're not focused on doing that, it isn't just going to happen. And why? Well, it's not going to happen because most people don't know. They're not paying attention to that sort of thing. And I watch so many people recruit somebody and then think that that person was going to set the world on fire and do everything that they had to do. And down the road, it turned out they did nothing. It's kind of like I chased a guy for 7 years because I thought he'd be the best networker in town. I could never get him in. He never did anything, and it was a complete failure. There's providence, and then there's the concept, and then there's the activity. Now, we heard a story a couple of weeks ago about a distributor that came on and found somebody that, and then that person went gold, and then she did whatever she did. Now. Here's the interesting thing when you get a piece of information is, well, what were the circumstances? Well, one, the woman had been in Nikken before. She understood the product. She understood the concept. She had a son. They were in a desperate situation and they found somebody to work with and away they went, which is completely different than somebody who's raw. Somebody's a raw public, somebody that has never heard about this or doesn't know anything and to get the result that you want to get to. So with that being said, these are some of the things that are important for you as a distributor to understand and be aware of so that you can think and predict and direct traffic. And then after I did it, I thought, okay, so why don't we play this game if you want to play? And we'll do month one. And starting March 1st, month one. So we'll look at the picture of month one. And month one was simply find a distributor, get a customer, and then help that distributor find a distributor and get a couple of customers and create that initial volume. Do that, and the rest is the same. It's that simple. It's not an arduous, it's just, as the key is finding somebody that wants to play. And one of the things that helped me in my success in many ventures that I did was having a partner to collaborate with. Now that partner could be frontline, not a problem there at all. And but it's got to be somebody that you like to work with and they like to work with you because it's like a relationship, it's like a friendship, it's like your bestie, it's like all of the same things where there's admiration for the other person, communication's high. And when communication is high, then reality is high, understanding is high. And so if you're going to talk about something and to get it going, you know, whether you're a young married couple and you buy your first house, you both discuss that. I want to buy a house. We want this. And you talk back and forth until you have an agreement of which way you're going to go for most people. And then once you have that agreement, you move forward. Anyway, enough being said on that stuff. It is that only 19th, so we got one more week in February. As I said, we got a half hour questions. Let me address your questions.
I will start, Dave.
Okay.
This was so detailed, and as everybody knows, I probably am very comfortable understanding all this. But if I may, this is like a big elephant. We need to sort of break it down a little bit. As
Yeah.
I was watching and reviewing it, I forgot what it is when somebody goes up. What do you call it? Point is, if I may, I have to think what I'm trying to say. I would like to participate, suggest in what you just suggested because we have everything as a template, what we need from you, what the business should look like. But we need that start point, and that start point is the partner. So, what I'm speaking for myself, Dave, the part the most of us are missing, and I'm comfortable to say this in front of all of us, is that order, not having that business partner. So I'm suggesting we focus on that.
Start writing down how many ways you could find somebody to talk to.
Okay. Yes.
So it's you could make a list of people that you've talked to in the past. You could pick up well, they don't have phone directories anymore, do they?
No.
You could get the
No.
yellow pages and call the names that did that. You could buy leads. You could go do surveys. You could go to the mall. One of the favorite things that I used to teach people is go up to somebody and ask them directions. Get in a habit of asking directions. Oh, can you tell me where, pick an address that you want to go to or pick a location or pick a store or whatever the case may be. Here's why. One of the biggest fears that people will have is talking to somebody they don't know because they feel they're going to get their head chopped off. Now, that's the consideration. It's like they might think I'm stupid or they might tell me to buzz off and well, so what? So what? That's their issue, not your issue. Your issue is you're on a mission, and your mission is you want to talk to people and you want to be able to ask them questions. So the first thing I would do if I were in this predicament is I'd write down as many different ways that I could figure out how to talk to people or get somebody to talk to. Now, the next thing is really critical, and that's your story. And again, your story has got to be something that is going to attract attention for what you want. Remember that it's for what you want. So if when you did your admin scale a couple, 3 weeks ago, you had a goal and you had a purpose. The goal was to say make 10,000 a month or 5,000 a month or go to the moon, whatever it was. And the purpose was a sub goal. So the purpose is a sub goal. So if somebody says, well, I have the purpose to help mankind. Well, underneath that, well, how do you feel when you help mankind? Well, I feel great. So the purpose is to feel great. And you do it by helping mankind. Or you're a philanthropist and you give away all your money, like I did. Why? Because I wanted to help, the cause. So goal, purpose, you've got those things aligned out. Your story has to align with those two things. And then you have to look at what's going on in society. And right now, I know in Canada, the United States, that what's going on in society is people there's two classes now. There's the rich and the poor. Middle class is almost wiped out simply because it's being wiped out because inflation's hit in, the cost of living is going through the roof, and jobs are at a premium, and so on and so forth. So there's a lot of people that are looking for an answer. Well, join Nikken is not an answer when you think about it, because it doesn't. What does that mean? Join the Salvation Army. Join the Wooji Woojis. It's kind of like how are you communicating? You want to communicate to create some interest and to get into a conversation to discuss an idea and a concept. And again, here's what we know. When people go to work, they're going to work for one reason, to make money, and there's nothing wrong with making money if you have a good purpose for it. Survival's a great purpose. Your survival, your longevity, you're taking care of your family, you're being able to not be a burden on society, or, those are worthy reasons to go figure out how to make money. And there's a lot of people in that boat. So the story, in my opinion, again, this is my opinion, is got to address the issue that's going on right now in society. You want to get into a position where somebody asks you what you do, and then, or you want to use your story to validate why they should join you. In every endeavor in the business world, the first thing you need to do, and we've already addressed this, is you need to find somebody to talk to. So that's priority. You need to find somebody to talk to. The second thing is you need to make yourself known for who and what you are and what you represent. And then the third thing is you've got to find out what they need or want related to who you are and what you do. And then the next thing is you got to produce that. You've got a list, you've got a story. Now you've got to get out there and communicate and make yourself known. Now let's look at other examples. What does a realtor do to make themselves known? What does an accountant do to make themselves known? What does an attorney do to make themselves known? What does a doctor do to make themselves known? And again, now here is the next key thing that I found most fascinating. Network marketing in the 90s had a negative connotation. In the 90s, it had a negative connotation. We're 2025, 25, 35 years later, and I think some people are still running into a negative connotation. Now, what do we do becomes the issue here. And the issue is what we do is we distribute products, either to customers or other distributors. And I learned a long time ago from some famous guru that if you really want to make it, put yourself in between the manufacturer and the consumer. Be the middleman. So you can direct the flows of where things are going. And that's exactly what we do. Now, the way I laid out the plan, in the sense of I'm talking to somebody and I say, well, we're in the distribution business. This is how it works. It's kind of like McDonald's. It's kind of like Starbucks. It's kind of like Exxon, Mobil, Shell Oil, AT&T, Verizon, any of those companies. It's the same deal. They have a guy at the top, they have a bunch of employees, and they have distribution all over wherever their marketplace is. And some it's global, some it's national, some it's local. So here's why this is so valuable. You want to communicate what other people understand first. You don't want to communicate unknowns. You don't want to communicate challenges or difficulties. You want to establish a relationship on common ground. So the first thing in your communication is to find some commonality to how you talk about it, whether it's knitting or collecting cars or skydiving or curling or skiing or swimming or aerobics or whatever it is. Because once two people get together and there's an affinity between the two of them, then communication starts to go up. And when communication starts to go up, then you can get into what needs to be got into. Now, again, I knew this that back then. I know it. I've used this throughout my whole career. So my first objective when I was talking to somebody was I wanted to know everything I could about this person before I dumped anything on them about what I was doing. to see if there's some where's the reality between the two of us? Where can we communicate? Where can we have fun together? What can we do together? What can we associate with it to get into this idea of being a distributor for Nikken, a multi-level marketing company, and et cetera, et cetera. So it's the same thing as a dating process. You start off at a very gentle pace. Usually, maybe you go out for lunch, maybe you have a drink, maybe you go out for dinner, maybe, and then maybe down the road you go together in a weekend. But you don't do that on the first date usually, do you? So it's a gradient. Now, that gradient can be a day, a week, a month. It doesn't have to be a long period of time, but you get the idea. So your objective is to find out what's needed and wanted from them based on what you do in the distribution area or making money. So in the beginning, I did that. And that's what I would suggest that you focus your attention on and then play month one, March 1st. Month one, what do we got to do? We got to find one new distributor. And if you've got the people that you want to work with and they fit into that plan, then good, fit them into that plan and teach them to do the same thing. Because that's all it is. It's just one gets two. Maybe one gets three. Okay, fine. One gets one. Okay, fine. But if that one gets one, get that one and then help him get two or three and keep it going because don't forget how the compensation plan works. You can get paid on up to six levels below you, whatever's on those levels. And that was the aha. It's not just you and what you do. See, you don't make any money for what you do. You only make money when somebody else does something. Another question.
I don't have a question, Dave, but I wanted to say I've enjoyed when I sent you my story and the corrections you gave me on my story. It's just like a little tweak, just enough to cause me to go, aha, I get it. So thank you for that.
You're welcome.
And I encouraged Ron to send his. And
He
so,
did.
yeah, yeah.
I gave Ron a
So,
little tweak.
yeah. Because it's just the mindset, just about. So I appreciate that because I know I need to be able to tell my story in a good way.
And here's
So,
why. It's Shakespeare. Beauty's in the eye of the
yeah,
beholder, and you can look strange to somebody, you can look weird to somebody, you can look obnoxious to somebody, you can look pretty to somebody, you can look gorgeous to somebody. It all comes from you and what you put out there.
yeah,
And so here's the moral of the story. Put out what you want them to hear. Put out what you want them to see. And again, this is why
yeah,
you want to find the problem. Then guess what you're going to put in front of them? The solution.
yeah.
So let's say the guy says, "God, I need to make some money, man. This I'm not sure about the company." And then, well, how much? What are we talking about? Do you need to make what kind of ballpark figure? 4 to 5 thousand. Well, how long do we have till we can make that kind of money? Well, I got 6, 7 months, and then it looks like they're going to axe me, so I need to have that by 6 or 7 months. So I think we can do it. Let me show you how. Then what do you need to do to show them how? Well, you got to have a little bit of knowledge about the compensation plan. You got to have a little bit of knowledge how to draw an organization and structure. You got to have a little bit of knowledge of how it works and what direction you go. And you got a little bit of knowledge of the activities that make it work. So somebody says, well, how do I find people to talk to? Well, let's take a look at this. We can create a list and we can take a look. We can evaluate the people on that list. Who do you think would love to make an extra 5,000 with you? Wow, Bob would. I know Bob and I talk about this all the time. Well, good. Let's go talk to Bob. And it's almost ridiculously that simple. And
I
and
love it.
and so where are the fears? Where are the holdbacks? Not know, the unknowns.
Not knowing what to
And
say,
again,
to blah, blah,
yeah,
blah, all that. Yes.
all that stuff. So that then get the dolls, put them on your couch and start practicing. Or figure out somebody on this call to get together with and practice with each other.
Yes.
What I would do with new distributors, say, okay, call me up at random. We're not going to set a time. You just call me and try and reach me and pitch me. So we'd play, customer, I'd be the customer and I'd be the potential new distributor or whatever the case may be.
That's great.
Going to share something I've just discovered. I just discovered when you also do not have a fear what's going to be the outcome, it has changed for me. I'm just sharing with everyone else.
Good.
Something else. We do a lot of things online. For example, I just picked up an article from a lady online that I purchased from my aunt. All of a sudden, we're communicating, but and it's nowhere near. But I know when I picked up this article, she's telling me I got to go see a doctor, and then I asked her about her kids. We're just starting conversation. I never would have thought about a month ago that that's where you can start a conversation. I have no idea where it's going to lead, but she just texted me back. I'm supposed to see her Sunday, so I'm just being open is great,
Yep,
where people can
absolutely. Good.
have a conversation.
And it's a really good point, Lynn, because you never see most people have got their guard up constantly because, especially in today's society, they're being scammed, they're being fleeced, they're being lied to, they're getting all kinds of propaganda. They don't know what's real, what's the truth, whatever the case may be. So, again, that's why being in a warm market environment is so much easier than the cold market. And you'll be surprised. And I've gone back to people I knew, 10, 15 years ago and talked to them again, and their circumstances have completely changed. All results come about by an activity. So in your admin scale, the after you've done your program and you got your projects, then there's your orders. And what your orders are a direction to an activity. And you've got to give yourself the orders to go to work. That means you need that battle plan on a daily basis where you get up in the morning and you write, this is what I'm going to do today. And they have to be actions that are known to create a result. Now, the whole object of the exercise is to focus on doing the activities. Don't worry about the results. You use your statistics to manage your activities. And you do it after a period of time. So day one, you can go out and talk to nobody. And day two, you talk to 25 people. And day three, you sign up the world. So don't rush to judgment on any of these things.
So then what's our plan for next Thursday, Dave? What we got one more week, February.
Well,
Let's be clear.
I'm going to carry on next week. It'll be the activities of the business. So we can just look at
Okay.
all of the activities because one of the concepts of doing your program is to understand, and what we just did was, well, what are the activities that could make this work? See, you guys have to do something here. And in the sense of you got to take a look at the information and then you've got to apply you to that information. And when you don't understand something, don't be stupid and not clear it up. Get an answer.
Yeah.
Don't go past it. Well, I don't know what that means, and I'll go on to the next. No, 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 no. Give me a call, write me down, send me an email, send me a text message, ask me the question. I don't care. But if you don't understand something, here's what you're going to do. You're going to go do something goofy. And you're going to try and reinvent the wheel. And you're going to go down the rabbit's hole, Alice in Wonderland. And, it's just not going to be good. And that's what happens when you don't understand something. You try and invent something else to do to compensate for what you don't. And no, 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 no. This is a really simple, direct. You contact people, you find out what they need and want. You make yourself known, find out what they need and want, and you produce that. Somebody says to you, "Well, I need to make $5,000." What do you
Yes.
do?
Show them how.
You help them make $5,000
Yes.
with this
Yes.
plan. That's it. What do you got to do? Teach them what the plan is. Teach them how it works. Teach them all the activities. And what we observed in the early days, and again, it's the same thing. I've seen this all kinds of business. It's happening today in all kinds of people have this, oh my God, you mean if I did that, I could get that? And they go to work. Plain and simple. All right, guys, I don't want you to miss the call. It's 4:59, so we'll see you next week. Thanks for being on.
Thank you.
Thanks, Dave.
Okay. Good night. Enjoy the call with Louise.